The other day, my husband and I were talking about how much I used to shop and how we used to frequent luxury stores like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Cartier, Hermes, and you name it. Every time we have this conversation, I'm always reminded of the many interesting encounters I had at these places. So I thought I'll share them with you guys just for a bit of fun. The first interesting shopping experience I want to share with you today happened in the Louis Vuitton store. So this was about 5 years ago. I went to Louis Vuitton because I wanted to check out the Louis Vuitton Alma BB in Apilada. And on that day, I was wearing my Chanel Classic Double Flap in black caviar leather and with gold hardware. This is in the size small. So the sales associate kindly got out several Alma BBs for me to try on. So I left my Chanel bag on the side on top of the glass display counter, but I made sure it was within my sight. Then a lady, a customer in the store, came to the counter. At first, she was looking at the Louis Vuitton key rings and small leather goods, so I didn't think much of it. But at one point, she picked up my bag to have a good look at it. I was quite shocked and it took me a few seconds to process what was going on. Before I managed to say anything, this lady asked the sales associate if she could try the bag on. It was a bit of an awkward situation for the sales associate, but she handled it really well. She said to the lady, "Well, this bag belongs to this madam, but I know it's such a beautiful bag, isn't it?" The lady looked a bit surprised, but she immediately apologized to me, bless her. I think she genuinely thought my Chanel bag was one of the display items because she did look quite inquisitive when she was checking my bag out. It actually became quite a friendly encounter in the end because we started talking and she asked me where I got my bag from, and I even told her to check out the Chanel store, which was only across the street from where we were. The second luxury shopping experience I want to share with you today will always be unforgettable for me, but not entirely in a good way because I literally got shouted at by a sales associate in the Chanel store in Harrods, which is a big luxury department store in London. So, in Chanel, you will see these glass display counters where they showcase their costume jewelry and small leather goods. Behind them, you'll find shelves where they display their Chanel bags. I've been to several Chanel stores in different countries, and this seems like the standard setup for a Chanel store. In my local Chanel store, the sales associates usually stand behind the main glass counter, and this is where they take payment. Most of the time, there's always someone there, so it's very clear that customers shouldn't go beyond that point because it's strictly for the staff. However, with all the other counters, customers can usually go beyond the counters to have a good look at the Chanel bags, especially if there's no one there. Anyway, there I was in the Chanel store in Harrods and I saw this bag. I believe it was the Chanel mini reissue flap, which was a limited edition. I got really excited and I went past the glass counter to take a good look at the bag. Then out of nowhere, a sales associate approached me and really raised his voice at me. He said something along the line, "Can you not see this line? Do not go past this line." I actually have quite a blurred memory of what he said exactly, but it wasn't friendly. I was quite taken aback to say the least because he was really abrupt. Before I came around from my shock, he was already making his way to the stockroom. So there I was standing there holding this Chanel mini reissue flap and feeling really confused about the whole situation. I guess it's not surprising to say I was no longer in the mood to make any purchase that day and I left the Chanel store quite promptly. Even now, I'm still not sure why he got so upset with me, especially because the store wasn't busy at that point. It was just me and another customer who was trying on some shoes. I mean, I can understand if the store was packed with people and they had to manage the traffic wisely. I prefer to think he was just having a bad day and I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Please let me know if you think I was being ignorant. Maybe I should have contained my excitement and asked for help instead. Either way, I think sometimes a gentle reminder is all we need. Let me know if you have any interesting or unforgettable shopping experience in any luxury stores. I actually can't wait to see the comments and messages for this video. My next interesting luxury shopping experience happened at Hermes, or rather just outside the Hermes store. So a few years ago, I purchased this Hermes Kelly Cellier 25 in the color gold and with gold hardware. I didn't really expect this bag offer to come my way because I didn't have any purchase history at Hermes that year. And seeing I hadn't actually seen a Kelly 25 in person before that, I really took my time to try on the bag in the store. I know in certain Hermes stores, they have a designated room for this purpose, just so they can be a bit more discreet when showing certain handbags to their customers, especially the Hermes Birkin, Kelly, and Constance bags. From my experience, whenever they take out a very popular bag, it tends to generate a lot of interest and questions from other customers. In my local Hermes store, there's no such room, and they usually just show you the bag in the open. And like I said before, I was in the store for a while, and I really took my time to choose the perfect twilly for my Kelly bag. So all was well and good. But when I left the store, a lady approached me and she asked if she could buy my Kelly bag from me, and she was happy to pay more for it. I took a few seconds to compose myself, but I politely said no. Now, I'm not sure if she was just interested in the bag herself, or she might be a reseller or a personal shopper, but I don't think she had any bad intentions. That said, I still find the whole experience a bit frightening because it just shows that someone had been watching me from afar and I wasn't even aware of it. Fortunately, that lady was harmless because I can't imagine what would have happened otherwise. Whether we like it or not, wearing luxury pieces or designer items can sometimes put us at risk. So it's really important to be aware of our surroundings at all times. Another very interesting luxury shopping experience I had was in Rolex. So my husband was looking at watches and chatting with the sales associate. Now, I've never really been into watches that much, so I didn't really find the conversation very exciting. Therefore, I decided to entertain myself. There was this bowl of chocolate right next to where I sat, and I basically started snacking away. I made sure to keep the wrapping in my pocket so I didn't make a mess. Little did I know though, the manager had been observing me, and when we were about to leave, she came to me and gave me a dust bag. It was like the travel bag for watches. I was a bit puzzled, and when I opened the bag, there was a lot of chocolate in there. I was quite embarrassed, but she was so sweet. She gave me a wink and said, "Enjoy the chocolate." Mind you, we didn't actually buy anything from Rolex that day, but I must say the customer service was impressive. My next unforgettable encounter happened in Chaumet. A while ago, I was looking to buy a diamond ring because I didn't have an engagement ring when I got married. I did a video about this, and if you're interested, I'll link the video somewhere down below. Anyway, I was at Chaumet with my husband and I was just really drawn to the Chaumet Josephine ring. The sales associate could tell as well because even though she got out quite a selection of rings for me to try, I just kept reaching for the Josephine ring. I didn't purchase the ring there and then because I thought maybe I should keep my options open and maybe I should look at other jewelry brands first. So then I went to De Beers, Van Cleef, Cartier and Tiffany Co. But I just couldn't stop thinking about the Chaumet Josephine ring. Anyway, I decided to go back to Chaumet and the sales associate recognized me and she said, "What exactly is stopping you? I think what you need here is champagne." The next minute, her colleague got out 2 small bottles of champagne. I got a bit carried away and soon I was quite tipsy. Honestly, I was so close to buying the ring, especially because my husband was encouraging me as well. Looking back, I'm really glad I didn't make any irrational decisions under the influence of alcohol because otherwise I would have been quite disappointed with myself. I still don't have an engagement ring because I've decided it isn't something I would wear a lot, so there's no reason to spend a fortune on something just for the sake of it. I guess what I'm trying to say here is there's a reason they serve those delicious champagne. So I think next time I will just go for tea or coffee. My next interesting encounter took place in Tiffany Co. So one day my husband and I decided to drop by the store because I wanted to look at the Tiffany tea bracelet. As soon as we walked in the store, we were approached by this nice gentleman. He shook our hands and said, "It's lovely to see you. How have you been? It's been such a long time." Now, my first instinct was that he had mistaken us for someone else, but I wasn't sure about what to say because he was so warm and welcoming. My husband was quite confused as well, but he just thought maybe I knew the sales associate, so he just let it be and started chatting. The conversation wasn't about anything specific. It was more like a chat about the weather, the traffic, and holidays. Later on, we found out he was the manager for the store, and let me tell you, we had the best customer service that day. We were served drinks and snacks, and he just really took care of us to the point I almost felt guilty for not purchasing anything that day. I think it just goes to show how important customer service really is. Till this day, I'm still convinced he had mistaken us for someone else, but it doesn't matter because we had a lovely time there. That said, a few months later, I did contact him when I wanted to buy a necklace for my sister-in-law, and he kindly got everything sorted for me. So those are some of my very unforgettable encounters at the luxury stores. I think retail jobs can be very demanding in nature. So I personally have a lot of respect for people who work in this industry. If you have any interesting experience to share with us, please do so. So I guess that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.